Welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. So, the young lady sitting next to me is in much better shape than I am, and probably will always be in better shape than I am. Sitting next to me is Nikki from Iron Night Gym.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so obviously you work out.
Yes, a little bit. Oh.
Well, you were talking about. We were talking. I get to talk to them before they come in here. Um, you were really the other side of the fence. You were like eating and drinking the wrong stuff,
Oh, yeah.
sodas and fast foods.
Yes, I grew up in Georgia, and growing up, I didn't have a healthy lifestyle at all. I Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, my go-to snack when I got home from middle school was cheese balls and nothing, chocolate bars, all that stuff. I had no active lifestyle. In the mountains, really, unless you're going cow tipping, there's really not much to do. People play football, but I don't play football. I grew up doing theater, so the most workout I did was singing my vocal cords, and I did a little bit of dancing. But yeah, I had no activity growing up in terms of sports or fitness, running, anything like that until about 11th grade of high school.
Were you overweight?
I've never been overweight. I just had a very unhealthy view of my body. So a lot of people would see me back then and be like, you were actually underweight. But because of growing up around a lot of people that were in shape, people at my school, they did the cheerleading. A lot of the girls were into cross country and track. And I never did that. I always saw them as like these in shape Barbies, and I was, I always had muscle mass on me, and that in early 2000s was not the look. Everybody wanted to be a size zero and American Eagle. You go to Hollister, if you're not shopping in the extra, extra small section, they looked at you funny. So growing up, my vision of myself was not healthy. And so there in turn, I thought that I was overweight.
It's interesting because I look back at my high school picture, and I coached gymnastics
Mm-hmm.
back then. I was on the fencing team, and then I looked today, and I said, "How do I go from that to this?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because surely I was always 5'2", so I
Yeah.
was never tall.
Me
Uh,
neither. Well, I'm still waiting.
well, I married a tall woman, so I don't have to wait anymore. I got someone to reach over the top shelf. My wife's almost 5'10".
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my wife's a big girl. Um, but it's interesting because I don't think anybody would put us together. It's really a strange scenario because you have a thing in your mind that, hey, I'm 5'2". I'll date girls 5 foot to 5'5", size
Mm-hmm.
1'3". So I get the skinny girls, the size 1'3s and whatever,
Yep.
and how fakely important that is.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of
Okay,
like how society views what should be acceptable, in a sense.
so you decide in like 11th grade or thereabouts to change your lifestyle.
Yes. I started doing dance classes with my mom. She was a Zumba instructor. My mom danced all my life. She grew up in New York, so she was a dancer. She also did theater, so I got that part of the creative side from her. I never took actual dance classes. Everything I learned was watching her, mimicking what she does. I would go to all of her classes, and then eventually I became a dance instructor for health clubs. I did the Boys and Girls Club. I went to school after school programs, and I worked with kids. I love doing that, teaching the younger generation because they're so unhealthy now. Just getting into movement overall. And then once I was like, okay, I've gotten to a point where I'm really lean now. I want to start looking strong because now we enter like 2010 and everybody's putting muscle on. And I said, okay, well, I guess now I fit in. So I started looking and doing research, and I went to college for cosmetology, nothing that has to do with hair. I went for psychology, again, nothing that has, or not hair, but fitness, nothing that had to do with that. And then I came to Florida and I started doing mentorships. I started working at Iron Night. They taught me a lot of things along the way. I got into powerlifting. So now I am a certified powerlifting and strength coach, and I specialize in working with beginners because I was a beginner at one point, and I know how scary it is for people to walk into the gym and be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. All these people are in great shape. I'm never going to get there. So I like to help people from ground zero and then get them to where they never thought they would be. I've worked with numerous people that have never touched a barbell, and then they go and compete on a powerlifting platform and they are hitting personal records and setting state records. And that's all in a matter of a 6 month to a year time frame.
And most people don't understand that life is not a destination; it's a journey.
No, absolutely. I preach
Okay.
that a lot.
And if you're overweight, it took you a while to get to that.
Yep.
Okay.
Did you just watch my last Instagram video?
No.
I just posted about that. I did.
No, but I live it, so it's okay. That's okay because I live it. But just when you get to a certain age, they say you should start watching. But it depends on how you want to live your life.
Exactly.
Okay. It's so for some people it's quantity over quality, and some people it's quality over quantity.
Yep.
And I believe my time is my time. When it comes, it comes. I've been on my deathbed 3 times. I want to enjoy my life, and your mom would appreciate coming from up north that we're meat and potato people.
Yep.
And as the good Italian that your mom is, it's pasta.
Oh, yep.
Italian
Pasta,
food.
cheese, bread, all of
Okay.
it. Sausage.
Yep. So very different. So now, you don't teach that?
So I teach balance. Everything, you have to live your life, but you also need to have a bigger percentage on the big picture goal. So if you are someone that lost weight, and I say that all the time, I have people that walk into my office and they're like, I want to lose 25 pounds in 3 weeks to go on a cruise. I said, please sit down. Because that is, I don't know who told you you're going to do that. I don't know what video you watched of somebody doing an extreme diet and losing this weight. I'm not going to let you do that because it's unhealthy. I said it took you, some people are like, yeah, it's been about 10 years. I haven't worked out. I haven't eaten well. I don't eat at all. 90% of people that walk in my office, they don't eat. They don't eat breakfast, they snack at lunch, they go to McDonald's for dinner, and then that's their routine. So I'm like, you don't have any relationship with food because you're probably too busy, or you're terrified to eat because everything tells you carbs are bad, don't eat this, don't eat that. So trying to help people understand that food isn't the enemy, but also having them realize, like, it took you a while to get to where you are. It's gonna take just as long to get it off, but that is why this is a lifestyle. It's not a quick fix. This is something that once you get there, you have to keep working on it. It's like a relationship. Just because you get married doesn't mean you just stop. You have to keep building.
Oh,
Yeah.
it should be like 7 years you can renew. It's like a lease. But so, and for me, the way I see it, is it hard to change? Like, we have something in common. We're not big vegetable eaters, but you're still healthy.
Exactly.
Okay. And you said something interesting. You said that if you make the vegetable, and you said you're not a great cook,
No?
but if you make the vegetables, you can make it to your taste and your liking.
Yes.
Did that make it easier for you to eat vegetables?
I like vegetables. It's just because I'm not good. I either do too much seasoning, not enough seasoning. I want to just eat everything with hot sauce. And I was like, I don't even know where that came from. Like, we're Italian. Like, you eat hot sauce on everything. And I don't know. If I prepare it and I get to a point like chicken, rice, all that stuff, I'm like, I got it down. I know what I like now. Vegetables just came a little bit later in life because, again, I didn't grow up on a lot of vegetables. Everything was pasta.
Right.
And if it was vegetables, it had cheese on it. So, broccoli and cheese, asparagus with sugar and brown sugar and honey and all the stuff that made it not
Edible.
taste like vegetables.
Well, you say not tasting. I say edible.
Edible, yes, enjoyable, I guess. So yeah, if I find the way that I like it, I'm also very routine. I'm okay with eating the same things every single day of the week.
Really?
And a lot of people struggle with that. But that's also the difference between discipline and motivation. People are like, I'm motivated, so I'm going to stick to something for a week, and then they get bored, so then they go back to their old habits. Whereas I've been doing it for so long, and I got tired of starting over, that I was like, I'm just going to pick things I like, and I'm going to eat them because I know that it fits with my lifestyle, and I don't have to think about it. That's why I do online coaching or coaching in general, is because I want to help people not have to think too much about what they need to do. I want to give them the tools, and then I want to be their accountability along the way.
I think that most people could eat pizza every day. Ah.
To be honest, if you can make it fit and that's your 20% of your, I don't like to call foods bad and good. You have your foods that work differently in your body and foods that don't work as well. But you can have a slice of pizza once a day if that's the only thing you're eating like that, and the rest of your meals are coming from good quality proteins and carbs and fats, and you're not drinking sodas and empty calories, so to speak, where you drink your calories away.
But you said something earlier that we hear eggs are bad for you, eggs are good for you, eggs are bad for you, eggs are good for you. How does one decide what to do? And then on top of all that, when you finally decide a path, and this is just my thinking, then you find out that um, it's the food's got poisons in it. Um, there's so much wrong with what we eat.
Oh, there's a lot wrong. That's why you go to other countries and their food is, you come back 10 pounds lighter by eating pastas and stuff. And that's the unfortunate. I mean, if you can grow a farm, grow a farm. I don't have time to grow a farm, but I do like foods from farmers, the people that grow stuff locally, like supporting them. But not everybody has that luxury, and I understand. So it's kind of like picking the less of the evils when it comes to our nutrition. And nutrition is also not one size fits all, just like fitness is not one size fits all. Some people are going to be able to eat certain things that others aren't, and that's kind of trial and error. Making sure that people know how to read ingredient lists is really important, because if you pull out something on the shelf and it's got an ingredient list longer than the alphabet and you can't pronounce majority of it in there, you probably should put that back on the shelf, because most of those things are just not going to do our body any benefits. The more close to natural you can get, the better. But also don't be afraid to eat a piece of pizza once in a while, because it's still life. You got to live it.
I have a good friend who is into fitness, and I got her off the ground, and she wanted to be on TV, and she did 3 years of her own show here with me, and then now she's on TV.
Okay.
And but her thing was, Wayne, every so often I get the urge, and I'll stop at McDonald's and have a McDonald's burger and fries. I just don't have it every day. I don't even know if I have it once a month. She says, but if I want it, I'm going to go have it.
Oh, yeah.
If you deprive yourself, then you're never going to be able to stick to anything that makes sense.
I have a lot of people that they want to go 0 to 100 really fast.
Right.
They've lived this very unhealthy lifestyle for 10 years, and then overnight they want to throw everything out of their kitchen and eat kale and broccoli and chicken, and they end up craving things, and then that craving ends up turning into, they can't control it. So now they're going to go and purge the food because they haven't had it in their diet for a whole week and they've had it for 10 years. You can't do that. It's not sustainable. Learning how to put the missing pieces of your puzzle together first. So for people that don't eat breakfast, we start there. You haven't had breakfast in 10 years. We need to find what you like for breakfast. Don't worry about the other stuff. We will replace that as we go, because if you only eat 600 calories a day, and now you're trying to eat 1,500 calories, your body is going to be like, what are you doing? You're going to go into shock. So I try to help people put the pieces together over time instead of going 360 overnight, because that's the extremity on the other side of the spectrum. They went from a very unhealthy lifestyle to trying to be extremely, I don't even know if I'd call it healthy, just obsessed with trying to change. And they're not going to end up sticking to the longevity of it, because they're going to crave foods. They're going to get burnt out from the fitness they're doing. They're going to be tired. Their body is going to be changing too quickly for their body to actually keep up with the changes. That's why so many people that cut out carbs and they cut out all this stuff that their body actually needs, but they don't know why they need it, they lose all this water weight so fast that when they do go and eat something that's pasta, rice, it just absorbs all that water, and now they're like, oh, well, I gained all that fat back. You can't, it doesn't work that way. Like, fat does not come and go that, I wish it did, but it does not work that way.
Okay, so like sugar, because that's really addictive.
It is.
How long do you have to be without it, per se, for it to be out of your system?
So sugar is just another form of a carb. So if you're still having certain carbs, it's just different types of sugars and how it breaks down in our body. So sugar will probably never be out of your system, but we definitely want to make sure that we're having the carbs and the sugars that are going to digest differently in our body, break down slower, be long-lasting energy versus those not simple carbs, but fast absorbing carbs that you would eat if you're going to go for a run and you just want it to give you that burst of energy right then, right there. But a lot of people, when they cut out foods, they're going to sources like, we'll use keto, for example. People try to do keto, and instead of eating like their avocados or changing their cooking oils, they eat butter and cheese and bacon. And I was like, that's not any better. That's the fat in that is so bad. And now you're also having the sugar that's in there to make it taste good. So sugar is one of those things where it's probably never going to be out of your body, but we want to replace it with the good sugars, just like we want to replace it with the good carbs and the things that are a little bit more natural for our bodies, like eating fruit over drinking, orange juice, because orange juice is probably going to have all that stuff in it. Just go eat an orange.
I mean, I was telling you I gave up like fast food soda. I also gave up processed food.
Yes.
So I won't go like I used to go to the store and buy a half pound of bologna, some roast beef, or turkey. Yeah, if I'm not going to make that myself, I'm not going to eat it. First of all, and I like bologna.
Yeah, I
But-
grew up on bologna sandwiches,
but-
fried bologna sandwiches.
But it's a lot of that stuff is processed. You don't know what it is. Same thing with hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
Okay, 100% beef, no fillers. But how do I even know if any of that's true or any of that's right?
It's in America, it's hard to know. It's just really learning to look at the food and the ingredients. And I mean, a lot of people will do research. They'll Google things, they'll go to the actual manufacturer and see what their website says. It's really hard to tell because
I need to befriend them.
yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I know. Some people, one of my clients will be like, can you just look at this? She'll send me pictures and it'll have the ingredients, it'll have the nutrients. And I'm like, let's not go for that. Let's go for something different. I went to Sprouts one time and I love Sprouts, but some of the meats, it literally says processed ham. And then you have processed. And I said, so do you not want me to buy this? Because I'm not going to get that one.
Right.
So I'm like, I appreciate the transparency behind that. But it really just comes down to knowing what the ingredients are in your foods and knowing that if you pick something up and the list is astronomical, that you're probably not going to get the actual nutrients out of that food. You're going to get all the stuff that they've added to it. So the simplicity is key with your nutrition and your ingredients.
We're getting a tough of a time. How do people find you? You have a website?
So I am mostly on Instagram.
Okay.
I have my Nikki Joy Baker, which is my primary account. So I post my lifting, I post nutrition tips and fitness form advice, and I do a lot of very honest and real feedback videos. I also do a segment on there called Real Talks. So I sit down at my office desk. I do little 90-second clips about just being transparent about things people are struggling with or things like with coaching and life. And then I have my business page, which is Realistic Strength, and that's going to be more of like my clients and the coaching side of things and showing like how I am working with my customers.
You have a phone number that people can reach out if they need to?
I do. It's 772-710-7458. Most of the time, text message works. If you call, leave me a voicemail, I'll get back to you. But
You're busy.
oh yeah, I'm busy.
That's a good thing.
It is. It is a good thing.
Everybody, and I say this a million times, taking care of your health and your diet and stuff like that, it's really not a DIY project. Having an accountability partner or somebody who can be with you through these transitions is probably very important. I think it's going to be very hard for you to say, hey, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to do it all alone. It doesn't work. Sometimes things take a village. With that, Nikki, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Everybody will be right back.